started today by letting you in on a little secret. Things are not always awesome. If you haven't noticed lately, things around us, they kind of stink. I mean, we can't come to church. Your parents are having to make important decisions about where you'll go to school this year. If you do go to school, it's not going to look the same. Life around us has kind of been pretty stinky since around March. And you know what? Other people at other points in history have gone through some tough times too. Things are not always great. But you know what's important to remember, boys and girls? In between the wonderful times, we have to remember that there's a God who loves us. And no matter what's going on in our lives, we have to remember that and we have to rejoice. So that's what our word today is going to be all about. Rejoice. We sang about it last week. We're going to sing about it again today. Now today we're going to meet a new prophet. You know, we've talked for 3 weeks now about Jeremiah. Today we're going to meet a new prophet who has kind of a tricky name. His name is Zephaniah. That's right. Say that with me slowly, boys and girls. Zephaniah. Yeah, pretty interesting. If you haven't heard about him before, well, we're going to learn all about him today. He had an important message to take to God's people, and I'm excited for you to hear it today. I want to begin with our first song, though, Every Move I Make.
Here we go.
Theo, have you joined a band that I don't know about?
No, not really. Last week at my backyard Bible school, I learned all about different ways to worship God. So I am working on making a joyful noise right now.
Wow, Theo, that is so cool. We're talking about that same thing in the Kids Spot today. Our word of the day is rejoice. Can you tell our boys and girls at home some things that you can do to rejoice in God?
Well, I learned that you can rejoice in God through songs and music. And it doesn't always have to be at church. It can be anywhere.
Really? Anywhere?
Yes, my mom has let me listen to great songs on the radio. I am playing the guitar at home, and my teacher at church is teaching me some new songs too.
That sounds great, Theo. Thank you for sharing all of these things with us today. I hope we can follow in your footsteps and rejoice in God wherever we are and whenever we can. Okay, boys and girls, it is time to see what our friends are up to today. Today, Ada and Otto are visiting an attic. Ooh, let's see what they find.
Now that worship's done, do you want to play kickball? Not today, Clara. Well, you can be pitcher or catcher or whatever position you want. Except for scorekeeper. I like that job since there's very little chance of the ball coming near me.
It sounds like fun, Clara, but we can't. We have to go to our grandma's house.
Oh, well, that'll be fun. Not this time. Grandma fell earlier this week and broke her hip. Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Our parents say she needs help, so she's moving into an assisted living community.
So we're going to pick some things up from her house to bring to her new home, and... I'm sorry. I'm usually very nervous about hugs, but you need one. Thanks, Clara.
Yeah, it's really terrible, because we always have Christmas at her house, but now she won't live there, so...
Again, sorry. I promise I won't turn into a hugger. Not that there's anything wrong with huggers. It's just not really me.
We should go. Thank you, Clara.
You're welcome. I'm impressed that Clara held that hug for 2 blocks before she let go.
She is a lot stronger than she looks.
It's so sad being at Grandma's house without Grandma. What do you think we should bring her?
Let's look around. All right, what do we have in here? Oh, it's a bunch of cookbooks. Grandma's banana bread is so good.
I thought you didn't like bananas.
I don't. That's how good the bread was. It made me forget I didn't like bananas. We should bring the cookbook.
I don't think she'll be able to cook at her new home.
Oh.
Here's a picture of the church altar guild. Hey, there's Grandma!
No way! Grandma was in the altar guild? Wow. I mean, it makes sense. She always uses a ruler when she sets the table.
I'll bring it.
Look, it's a whole photo album. It's got pictures of Grandma and Grandpa when they got their first car and their first house and...
Who's the baby in that picture?
I think it's Mom. And here's one of Grandma taking Mom to ballet and the beach and camping.
These are great. We have to bring these. They'll really cheer Grandma up.
You know, I thought I was only going to feel sad coming over here. But all this stuff made me feel way better.
This is just like what Pastor Pete said in his sermon this week.
Oh, the one about Zephaniah?
Exactly. He said that even when there are bad things, we can still rejoice in the good things.
Good old Zephaniah. Grandma has really done a lot of good things in her life.
Yeah.
I sure am gonna miss her banana bread.
You know, you could make some banana bread.
Ew, bananas!
And bring some for Grandma.
All right. For Grandma.
Throughout the Old Testament, God's chosen people were very faithful followers of God. But sometimes they forgot God's commandments. In this story we are going to look at today, they were doing something pretty awful. They were making idols. Now, you might be asking yourself, Miss Jennifer, what is an idol? Well, think back, boys and girls, because we've talked about this in children's church before. Remember that an idol is anything that you would worship or put before the one true God. In Bible times, there were many groups of people that we read about that would make something like a statue, like of maybe a horse or a donkey or something else, and they would give it a name and they would worship it just like it was their God. Of course, that makes God very upset because He is the one true God. He is who deserves our praise. So, a man named Zephaniah was sent by God to bring them this message about what they were doing. Now, before we read this story today, I want you to do something for me, kind of like we did last week. You might have to pause the video here for just a second because I want you to go and I want you to get two things. I want you to get a piece of paper. I've actually already taken mine and folded it because you're going to need to fold it, hamburger style. Can really be any color, but we are going to make a heart. So you might want it to be red or pink, but if you don't have that color, you can make a green heart today. Doesn't matter. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. Okay? So go, run, grab those things, boys and girls. Pause the video, and I'll see you back here in just a second. All right, boys and girls, you should be back with your two materials. Now remember, I told you to fold it hamburger style. You're going to start at the top, cut kind of on an angle, cut up and around so that you can end up with a heart. Here we go, last little bit. All right, so we're going to put our scissors to the side. We're done with those in our trash. And we're going to open this up. I did a pretty good job. Here's our heart. Now remember what I said about our story today. These people were worshiping idols. They were making God feel very upset. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this whole heart and we're going to tear it. So I want you to take your heart right now, boys and girls. I want you to break it in half. Because see, in the story, God's heart was broken by what the people were doing. All right, now as you listen to this first part of the story, I want you to keep your broken heart. I want you to hold it in your hands and think about the story. There's going to be a part of the story that we're going to put the heart back together. So listen for that part, okay? Here we go. We're digging into the Old Testament of our Bibles to a book called Zephaniah, chapter 3, verses 14 through 20. God was furious. That means he was really mad. The people of Israel were behaving terribly. They built idols and worshiped them. They praised other gods. They broke God's commandments again and again. The bright gold temple that King Solomon built was filled with people worshiping other gods. A worker in the temple discovered some old scrolls. He rushed to show them to his boss. His boss raced over to show them to King Josiah. Josiah couldn't believe what he read in them. "We're so far from God," he exclaimed. "We're breaking God's rules." Oh, remember the broken heart? We've got to change. God sent the prophet Zephaniah to tell the people about God's anger and sadness and about God's love. The people would be cleansed and saved. They would be God's people again. Zephaniah cleared his throat and called, "Sing praise to God. Shout your thanks. Rejoice in God." He reminded God's people, "You forgot about God. You built idols and worshipped other gods, not your God. You broke God's commandments. But God has given you a reason to celebrate. God forgives you. God is giving you a second chance." That's that part when you need to take your heart, boys and girls, and you need to hold it back together. Because God has forgiven their sins. "You turned your back on God," Zephaniah continued. "Now turn back to God. God still loves you. God forgives you. All around the world, people will know you follow God. You are God's people." Zephaniah invited God's people to rejoice because God loved and forgave them. They did something that was wrong. They made idols. But God said, if you will stop doing that, and if you will ask for forgiveness, He'll be able to take His heart that was broken from your sins and turn it back whole again. You know, that's true for us all the time, boys and girls. There are things that we do every single day that we mess up on. We speak to our parents the wrong way. We take a toy that is not ours from a brother or a sister. We're mean to someone on the playground. We were born with a nature to sin, to do things against God. But you know what, boys and girls? We worship a God who, you heard Zephaniah say it in the Bible, He loves us and He forgives us when we make mistakes. All we have to do is we have to turn back to Him and we have to ask for forgiveness. So I want you to remember that today, boys and girls. Life's not always awesome. Bad things happen. It's what you do after the bad things. That's what's important. Let's pray. Dear God, sometimes it is hard for us to remember to do the right thing. Thank you for loving us despite our sins and for always being willing to forgive us. Be with the boys and girls as we continue to be apart. Keep them safe and help them to remember these stories and place them deep in their heart. In your name I pray. Amen. In the story today, we learned that Zephaniah gives Israel a reason to celebrate. So I thought it would be great for us to sing all about that and to celebrate God's love for us.
Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Rejoice, rejoice, 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 and again I say rejoice.
Boys and girls, now it is craft time. One of the things I love most about coming to church is singing. It's one of the ways that I enjoy worshiping God the most. A fun fact about me is I was actually a member of the choir at the church I grew up in till I was 26 years old. So I really love singing. I thought today, since we learned from Zephaniah that we need to rejoice and celebrate because we have God's love and forgiveness, we would make something that helps us just to do that. So, you need to print off the paper that I emailed to your parents and cut it out. I've already cut the circle out. The circle says, make a joyful noise to the Lord. There's lots to color here. So you want to cut this out, and then you want to color all of this. Okay? Then you're going to need a couple materials from your house. 2 paper plates, preferably those nice, thick, sturdy kind. You're going to need a stapler and either some beans or some rice. Okay? Now remember, you've already done step 1. You've already cut this out and you've already colored it. Now you're going to take your 2 paper plates and you're going to put them together. And Mom or Dad are going to take the stapler and go almost all the way around those 2 paper plates, stapling them together. But make sure, Mom and Dad, that you leave a little hole at the top. Okay? Now, you can put some glue on the back of this or even a piece of tape if you don't have glue. Stick this to your paper plate just to decorate it. Then last but not least, you need to do something with that little hole. Why did we leave it there? Well, that's the special part for the beans or maybe the rice that you have at your house. So take that, pinch off some and put it into that hole. Okay? Not a whole lot. Maybe like 3 handfuls, and that'll be all you need. Then have Mom or Dad click, click, click with that stapler and fill the hole up. Because we don't want any of those beans or rice coming back out. Now, all you have to do is shake. And you're able to make a joyful noise to the Lord, just like the people in Israel did when they heard the message that Zephaniah had to share with them. I hope you'll have some fun making that today, boys and girls. Send me a picture of it. I'd love to see it. You know, boys and girls, God blesses me and God blesses you. I challenge you today to go and use what you have learned to bless the world. Until we see each other again, boys and girls, thank you for watching the Kids Spot. I'll see you real soon.